Three Stooges together for Frazier Friday, Braun, Frazier, and Kratz. Is this the famous guy that I heard calling the Derby the other day?
In between all those rockets that were getting launched.
It was a really good broadcast.
Oh,
It was a smooth listen.
Coming
Seriously,
from
I watched
you, I
it from
appreciate that.
start to
No, I
finish because I
appreciate
didn't
that.
go. I went after. I was a little under the weather. I went after right to the hotel room.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to hit the whole thing because like last year was your first year, but we were there.
Yeah.
So I
exactly.
wanted to catch it
Nah,
live.
man.
It was great.
Honestly, at the end of the day, like hearing that from you means a lot because you've been doing a lot longer than me.
And
But
I'm critical. You know that.
And you are very critical. My biggest thing is just more homers. I want to see more homers and more homers. I think it's great. No, but yeah, it was cool. Ravi and Eduardo, they're great. And they put on a show. I thought it was really, really fun time. And I thought, one guy I take out of it, O'Neal Cruz, bro, he was hitting balls. You were in there. You saw him. You almost caught one. That's how far you were.
And I was sitting up in the cheap seats.
Ooh, daddy.
That's unbelievable. Like how hard he was hitting the ball. Like when you do that, like I'll go back to watching Chad Johnson play football. He just looked like he was a different size and playing at a different speed than everybody else. That's what O'Neal Cruz looked like. And I know he didn't win it.
Hold up. Calvin
Johnson. Did I say Chad?
Chad was great too,
No.
Ocho Cinco, but
Hey,
Calvin.
Calvin,
I got
Megatron.
I got it, though. Hey,
Yeah.
Megatron.
Yeah,
both of them
Megatron.
are nasty.
But you see something different with O'Neal Cruz, and you're like, holy crap. And then he was like top like 6 of the 7 hardest homers, farthest homers.
But he didn't win.
Yeah, no, he
didn't
came up to me. It was funny because I forgot these things when we were practicing together in the practice squad in COVID year. He's like, Frazier, how you doing? Like we had a good conversation. He goes, you remember what you used to call me? I said, no. He said, you called me Bambi. Why you call me Bambi? And we just started laughing. I said, I probably called him that because he looked, he didn't know where he was. He looked like he was just getting and figuring out where to be.
Deer in headlights a little
Deer
bit.
in headlights, yeah.
Mhm.
Pretty much.
Well, did you see what Bambi looks like at the end of the movie?
Beast.
A beast.
Yeah.
And O'Neal looks like a beast right now.
No.
Bambi doesn't die at the end, right?
No, Bambi does.
I
Bambi's
don't remember.
mom
It's
dies.
been 30 years.
I got to take one thing out of this home run derby. I've never met James Wood before. That guy is an absolute monster. He might be one of the. I put him up with Aaron Judge as one of the biggest baseball human beings I've ever seen. Frank Thomas, Aaron Judge, and now James Wood and O'Neal Cruz.
O'Neal Cruz is up
Oh
there.
my God!
Kutch called O'Neal Cruz an avatar. He is literally an
Wow.
avatar.
Absolutely. James Wood could play basketball, baseball, or football right now. 100% easy.
And he's 20.
Well spoken, quiet, chill.
Yeah.
Love him.
20 few. It's
20 few. Exactly. Well, my thing was with the broadcast, there's that balance of commentary, calls, and then not making it about the broadcast. We
Let it
want to
play
let
out,
the
yeah.
homers live. So
Mhm.
the mix was all there for me.
Thank
you know?
you. I appreciate
So
it.
it was great. It was fun. Ravi and Perez were great too. All right, let's charge. Let's get into biz.
Charging the mound.
Now, first off, we have itty bitty deal. John Heyman reporting Spencer Turnbull, my favorite pitcher, has been released by the Blue Jays, or he was released by the Blue Jays after 3 appearances that did not go too smooth. Actually, 2 of them were okay, technically. Then he got smashed in the one. I think he had 4 and change innings and 1 run, and then the 3rd appearance with Toronto was a boo-boo. So he's moving on to the Chicago Cubs. Gets picked up. Cubs looking for some rotation help. I think they're going to do a little bit more than this, Kratz.
Yeah. I mean, they're not just going to stop with Spencer Turnbull, but it gives you like the Swiss Army knife. He pitched out of the pen last year a little bit. Does he regain the form that he had in his first, 7 to 10 starts with the Phillies? Maybe. Like this guy started the season a little bit late. He is a veteran. I mean, I consider him a veteran. And to me, it's a good pickup. Obviously, it's not it. The Cubs need to be – to me, I think the Cubs are up there in that echelon of Phillies, Yankees, Dodgers in needing to make a move. Tigers, because this is a team that can win, but also because the Brewers are coming in hot.
They are. They're, what, a game away?
1 game out.
That's crazy.
And they've been 1 game out for 4 days that they have to just keep 5 days, whatever the break was here, that they just have to keep looking at it like, okay, 1 game out. Now, like, it's the real deal. You're going to watch the scoreboards the rest of the season. For
Fun time of the year, baby.
Yep.
Cubs feel it more, too, because they did a lot. And they had a commanding lead.
Yes.
Brewers win 7 in a row entering the break. they lose stars every year, and then every year everyone's like, oh, this is the year they'll take a little step back. They'll be more 500-ish, and then they're like, no, actually, we're competing for the division.
And the Brewers.
I met the Miz,
Own
too.
the Cubs.
True.
You met the Miz in the home run derby?
Miz,
He wanted to see what home run derbies
are. I shook
are?
his hand, and his hand went like to here on me.
Mm-hmm.
Monster paw.
He's skinny, though, right?
He's very skinny.
Yeah.
Very skinny. He's great. I was getting selfies. Like I said, can I get a selfie with you? He said, sure, as long as I get one. I said, oh, damn. I said, you know what? That means a lot.
He thought you were Zach Cozart, didn't he?
No, he thought I was Brad Pitt. I said, no, I'm not Brad, but I'll tell you. That's so funny.
Like, dude,
Cozart's the best.
Did he go, loved you in Moneyball?
That was great. James Wood. I can't get enough
I thought
of
you were
James
Zach
Wood, bro. I can't get enough of him.
Galifianakis. That's why I picked James Wood.
Why are these guys so large?
That's how they have natural strength to hit homers.
It's incredible.
It definitely helps, right? If you're large.
Cal.
Unbelievable.
Cal is large.
Not tall, but large.
Cal texted me yesterday.
Raleigh.
I had texted him. Cal, Raleigh, big dumper. And when he texted me, I read the text on my truck. I'm driving, so it lets it hit it. And my son's like, "That's a flex that you got that." He said, "But why is his name not Big Dumper?" So we switched it. We switched it in my contacts. First name Big Dumper, and then last name, on your phone, Cal Raleigh. And so that every time, so then when he texted back again, it said text from Big Dumper. And it made us laugh every time.
Raleigh. I love it.
It didn't say Cal Raleigh.
Oh,
It just
I
said
wish
Big
it
Dumper.
did. That'd be cool.
It read it and said Big Dumper.
Out loud. I have
Yeah.
a video of it.
That's awesome. I would like to hear that. Maybe
Yes.
you can send that to someone for slap hands.
It made me laugh.
You should maybe text that to someone.
No.
A producer? No.
She doesn't.
What would you do
She only works on Fridays.
What would you do for Scotty Braun? His nickname.
Scott.
Not calling Scott. Scooter.
Just Scott. That's it.
The clean
You
Scott.
don't have anything for me?
Nothing. We don't have a
Mr. Clean.
Scooter Brown.
Scooter Braun. Yeah. He would try and get us Siri to say that. All right. Let's gauge the trade market.
Ooh.
Good article in The Athletic about what's actually available. And it was perfect timing because yesterday we were trying to figure out what positional availability was out there. Props to Chad Jennings and Tim Britton for putting this together. And let's just do a little glance. Remember yesterday, Kratz, we were talking about what center field looked like. So let's run from catcher and then move our way out, okay?
Catcher.
According to them, I don't even think there is a sure thing for a first division catcher that's available because the two names they threw out there both are not necessarily available. They threw Sean Murphy's name out there, not necessarily available. They threw Jose Trevino's name out there, not necessarily available. And then there's a pretty big drop off after that. We did talk about a team like the Padres needing catching, but let's go to more interesting positions. There is a large amount, potentially even gluttonous, of corner infielders that could be available. Eugenio Suarez, Josh Naylor, Ryan McMahon, Ryan O'Hearn, Nathaniel Lowe, Carlos Santana, Josh Bell, and maybe even a little Ramon Arias at third base, maybe even a Yohan Moncada, although I think the Angels are going to hang in there. So that's your corner infield group. Solid. Guys that can help playoff teams.
Without a doubt. I think Gene Suarez is the one that pops to me. Saw him the other day. Absolute stud. He's been hitting for a long time now. He's one of the top leaders in home runs. Hopefully his hand's okay from the All-Star game. The guy can hit. The guy can absolutely mash. You know that. He can play defense too. He's a solid guy, solid defender. And, if I'm looking for a third baseman, Yankees, there's my guy.
Everybody's going to talk about Gino, and obviously he's going to go. I think O'Hearn's going to go. To me, I was reminded of what I saw in 2018 when he was just breaking onto the scene with the Rockies. Ryan McMahon, when he takes BP, and I get it, the Rockies aren't like superstar laden.
Mm-hmm.
They have some dudes that can hit homers in BP, and you watch it and you're like, holy crap. They go I took my son's whole team out onto the field to watch BP at the Sox game when we were in Fenway, and they were like, who's that? He was hitting the ball significantly farther and harder, and he has this beautiful left-handed swing, and I go, well, he's hitting like 212 right now, but I honestly thought at the time he was going to surpass like Charlie Blackmon and all those guys. Mm-hmm. To me, Ryan McMahon he's number one on the list of change of scenery guys to an organization that wants to win And if this dude has a competitive bone in his body, which I think he does, I think the Rockies would do him if you want to do right by the player, give him a shot.
Yep.
Give him a shot, and I want to see him in the middle of a lineup. He doesn't need to hit third or fourth in a really good lineup. If somebody doesn't get Eugenio Suarez, go to him, and you get great defense, probably better defense than Gino, and you get a sweet left-handed swing.
True.
And they didn't even mention Ke'Bryan Hayes. We'll talk about him later, but I do think he's available as well. We're not going to spend much time on middle infield because, according to the article, there's not a lot to look at. They mentioned Willie Castro if the Twins sell. They mentioned Ozzy Albies. I have a tough time seeing the Braves parting with him. The Urias brothers, Ramon, Luis, they said might be the most legit options. You could make a case again for the Angels with Luis Rengifo, but he's having a bad year. And again, I don't think they're necessarily going to sell. Let's finish with the outfield. So center field, we covered yesterday, has Luis Robert and Cedric Mullins. I mentioned Harrison Bader. That's in the list as well. They threw two other names out there. Alek Thomas from the Diamondbacks outfield. Again, not necessarily going to be dealt. Jarren Duran, very much not necessarily going to be dealt either. So I think there's really maybe two guys that you can guarantee in Mullins and Robert that will be available, like we mentioned. And then maybe Bader if the Twins sell. And we'll finish with corner outfields and then get your final thoughts here. They mentioned Wilyer Abreu, just pondering if the Red Sox would part with one outfielder, especially if it does help them get something that can help them in the near term. They mentioned Taylor Ward, again, if the Angels do sell or not. Ramon Laureano, that's a lock. Austin Hayes likely gets dealt. Randall Grichuk, Jesus Sanchez from the Marlins, and
everybody's favorite there.
Tommy Pham, everybody's favorite. Always.
He's always
That's the list.
always
Tommy
trade
trade deadline.
Tommy deadline.
Tommy
Yes.
deadlines, Pham. My thing, we never think about the baseball trades. The Mets want a center fielder. Let's say they get a guy like Cedric Mullins who can play every day. You're going to play him against lefties. You're going to play him against righties. I don't think they would see him as a split guy. They have Tyrone Taylor. Can Tyrone Taylor fit in a team that doesn't necessarily need a lot of offense, but would be able to fit on defense? So not, obviously, he's not going to go to the Orioles, but more of like a team picking somebody up to shift somebody else, like the Phillies picking up a big left-handed bat and shipping Marsh somewhere. More like big league trades instead of that like prospect for superstar kind of thing.
And I want to piggyback on that too as well. I think, Cedric, I think he said it before and came out and said he loves it there in Baltimore and he would love to stay there. I think he needs a change of scenery. I honestly do. I think it's time. It's one of those guys where I would love to see him be an Oriole for life, but a change of scenery, get him kick-started, get him that second win kind of deal, if, for lack of better words, get on a different team and all of a sudden just take off and be who you are, bro. People know you in Baltimore. They love you, but, it's like that girlfriend you're just clinging on to for too long, man. Let it go. Have some fun somewhere else and go on a playoff team.
Yep, there you go. A couple comments on the finish line here. Armand said, Rockies ownership loves McMahon. Doubt they trade him. Yeah, but I think they're finally starting to change their tone.
If you love something, let it go.
Yeah, exactly. Let them thrive elsewhere. And Brandon Dillman said Laureano is a super cheap team option for 26. Highly doubt he gets traded. Yeah, you might be right. But being that there's not a ton on the market, the Orioles are going to look to capitalize for next year. And I know you're saying, hey, he's on the board for them for next year, but you could have said the same thing about Brian Baker. All right, let's step aside. The great Jayson Stark from The Athletic is ready to go next.
Jay Sizzle.
The Braves acquired Dane Dunning from the Rangers in exchange for Jose Ruiz and cash. This happened last night to make room. Jesse Chavez was designated for assignment for the billionth time.
And then he's going to sign with the Braves.
True.
The Rays or the Braves?
No, he just always signs with the Braves, and he always comes in, and he always pitches big innings for them.
Easy money.
Braves need arms. That's why they're getting Dunning for depth. You can say, hey, why are they acquiring anything right now if they should be sellers? Well, you got to get through the season.
can't
They're
believe,
down 4 of their 5 starters.
excuse me, I'm sorry, Scott. I can't believe Jesse Chavez is still around, bro. He got designated. God bless him, bro. I feel like he's 50 years old.
Do you want to
he's
guess
not,
the age?
but
And he's probably 43.
40.
41.
I
Turns
win.
42
You were under.
next month.
I was under. Yeah, I mean,
1 month away
So, yeah,
from
he's-
42 years
He's
old.
42.
we've never had him on the show, have we?
I got to hit him up. He's
I
only-
think so.
I only
And he
have
does
one,
interviews.
I only have one story for Jesse Chavez, and it's back in the Pirates days before he was a pro. Now he's been pro for like 20 years.
Let's save it for when he gets on. Then.
Oh yeah,
All
for
right.
sure.
We'll try and get him
I'll
on.
text him now.
Okay. And then,
Yeah.
actually, I can mention this right now. It's the PA and MLB are extending Luis Ortiz's non-disciplinary paid leave through games on August 31st. They are continuing with their investigation to see if he was betting on baseball or helping some bettors on baseball with 2 rogue pitches. If you want more on that story, we did a lot on it. You can look it up. Go to our Foul Territory YouTube channel and search Luis Ortiz. There were some good breakdowns from us on what was going on. My guess is that he's saying no. They're saying we don't know, and they need more time to figure it out.
Yeah, I would say it's not a lot of evidence, but they have to do it. They have to do it like this.
Yeah, it's hard. It's a tough spot because if you're the player and you're like, hey, I didn't do it, I should be pitching. The only thing that they can agree on is we're going to pay you, but we don't want you on the field. It gets dicey, but that's how these things go.
It's difficult. Got to know everything, so it's tough to even speak about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wish I could see the video. Like, did he shake to a slider and then just
You
throw
didn't-
and
did
just
you
throw
see
a
the
long
video?
dart?
See
Go
the
back and
pitches
look.
or you didn't?
I saw the pitches,
Yeah.
but I want to know if he shook to it,
Hmm.
or if he's like, "Hey, I'm throwing a slider for his pitch," and just lawn dart. I might have swung at it.
There's a lot. There's a lot to uncover about this.
There is.
We'll get more once they're ready.
Jayson Stark from The Athletic joining us right now. Jayson, it's so great to see you. Thank you for joining us. How are you, and how was your All-Star coverage?
I'm great, guys. Happy second half to you. Saw Erik. Scott, I saw your father. Never did lay eyes on you, but had a great time in Atlanta. The swing off was just one of those moments where I was so glad I was in the park with a computer. No, I can write about that.
Well, let me ask you about that, Jayson, because you've done a lot of reporting over the years on changes and the evolution of rules within the league. Do you think that we'll see more of this? Now, I'm not even necessarily saying regular season, but can they even figure out a way to incorporate this into more all-star games if it doesn't involve extra innings? What are your thoughts? What have you seen?
Wait, just explain to me what you're conjecturing here. That there would be home run derby busting out in the middle of regulation before we even got to extra innings?
So here was one thing I was coming up with yesterday. There either 2 options. Either you play the game and then at the end of the game you do a derby, and if let's say the AL was winning 6-2, each team gets 3 swings. The AL has a 4-run lead, so they get 4 bonus swings. Or mid-game you do a derby, and that can lead to an extra run with a 3 swing off. It's an exhibition game.
Yeah.
Okay, we debated a lot yesterday, Jayson, about if we would ever see it in a regular season game, maybe from the 12th inning on. What are your thoughts on that? And do you think that messing with the All-Star game is too much, or it's okay because it's an exhibition?
Okay, let's do this one thing at a time. First off, I love this. It was so much fun. Every once in a while, given the stuff I write about all the time, when something like this breaks out, I almost feel like I somehow willed it to happen. You know what I mean? Just so I could write about it. It was so entertaining, and the way the crowd got into it and those players got into it, it was awesome for the All-Star game. I am not a proponent of doing this in any other context, but one thing I couldn't help but think about was all the powers that be in the sport were in the park watching that and seeing how people reacted, hearing the buzz, just watching the reaction to those Kyle Schwarber bombs and thinking, they're going to be tempted to do this. I don't know, guys. How do you feel about the idea that the last pitch of a game that counts would be thrown by a coach? I'm not there yet.
Jason, sorry that Scott just wasted your time with what he was saying, because I've tried to stop him. They try to stop me when I say just asinine things, and this is my chance to just stop Scott from constantly talking about this. But no, it's not. We don't want coaches on the field. Like, the game's played for players. It was so awesome. I completely agree with you that it was awesome. But from that game, besides that, what is the storyline that is going to bleed into the second half from the All-Star game? Because obviously everyone's like, oh, Cal Raleigh's going to be so tired because he played in the home run derby and the game and all that stuff. But what do you feel like is going to bleed into the second half as we left the All-Star game in Atlanta?
Be something from the game? Because besides that, that's going to be the thing we talk about most, I think. I mean, I've been honestly thinking about, what does this do for Kyle Schwarber's trip to free agency? I think he was going to get paid, even though there's really no precedent, I think, for a contract for a guy who fits his profile. But you saw it. I mean, I talked to players in that National League clubhouse about that guy afterwards, and just hearing Kyle Stowers say, that guy's a legend, and this just made him more of a legend. Does this help Kyle Schwarber's trip through free agency? Because I'm going to vote yes.
Mm-hmm.
Understandably so. The guy's an absolute beast. He's been doing it for years. My question to you is, I'm jumping to a team here. The Arizona Diamondbacks have been okay the past couple of years, made it to the playoffs, almost made a run, and won the whole thing. And now they're in a stance here. Are they going to be sellers? Are they not? They got a couple pieces they can get rid of. In my opinion, I feel like they should be sellers. Talk to me a little about the Diamondbacks with this trade deadline coming up.
Todd, from what I'm hearing, they are set up to sell. They're clearly the team to watch here these next 2 weeks. And just think of how the planets are lining up. They have the perfect excuse to sell, don't they? They can just stand there and say, we loved our team. We couldn't stay healthy. We're in a tough division. So we're going to trade these guys and then try to sign them all again as free agents. And I honestly think that's what's going to happen. So I don't know. Isn't there a world where Eugenio and Josh Naylor become the two best bats traded? I think so. And I don't know that they deal both Merrill Kelly and Zach Gallen, but I mean, what are the odds that whichever one of those two they do sign becomes the best starting pitcher traded? I think they're really high. That's a team that I think now controls the deadline. They're perfectly positioned and they know it.
But is this team, they're not looking to rebuild. They're not even looking to really necessarily build their farm system. So this might be my favorite team, because they could make a baseball trade where they're like, hey, we'll take your already established big leaguer with 1 year of time for our rental that we have. Is there a team that they match up the best in that type of trade?
I think they match up with about 10 teams. They've got the walk year all-stars. So the value of rental players has been falling in this market, but for them to get one young piece of the puzzle, I mean, that fits infinite number of teams. I don't know how many teams that are in a race want to trade a player who's actually on their big league roster right now, but they're going to do fine, I think. And what you just described, a team looking to make trades that are good baseball trades that set them up to compete again next year, that describes the Diamondbacks perfectly for me.
Hey, Jason, I want to ask you about the trade deadline in general. Your colleague at The Athletic and our buddy on this show, Jim Bowden, recently put out an article saying that he thinks the trade deadline should be pushed back a bit. After years now of a case study with the third wildcard team added and more teams with a decent percentage of making the playoffs. Are you okay with where we're at, or do you feel like we're hurting ourselves as a game by preventing trades from happening because too many teams are still on the fence, and it would give them a little bit more time after the draft to collect thoughts, right? Because it seems like generally most teams are not doing much until after the draft, which is 3 days ago.
Yeah. Scott, both those things are true. And I agree with Jim to that point. But I think there comes a time when teams need to make a decision about what they are. And I think teams can waffle until August 15th just as easily as they can waffle till July 31st. And when I look at these teams that can't decide, I just think you should understand after 110 games or whatever it is, what your team is and what your odds are and what you should do for now and for down the road. And I just think it's an excuse. I don't know how much it clarifies anything to wait until August 15th. I do think it's an issue that teams that have some big injury after July 31st have no vehicle to make a trade that gets them a replacement. I would like the sport to think about that, but otherwise, I like it where it is.
I couldn't agree more. I got traded plenty of times on August 30th. I'm not a big playoff contributor, but I still think teams need to have that out where they get that August 30th deadline back again, because big guys get moved. Justin Verlander gets moved during that time.
Yeah, the Justin Verlander trade is one of the biggest, most difference-making deals of the last 10 years. And it happened not in July, but in August. And just all the anecdotes about what happened that night with the Astros people waiting in a car outside his house, right? And him running down the stairs so he could sign and approve the deal right before midnight. Tremendous. Give me as many tales like that as we can put together.
I don't know, all those stories. I like reading all those stories, but they don't all line up. Like for me, like they got the call in by 11:59, and supposedly he still signed it. Anyway, we don't need to make up stories to be friends, Jason. But I do have to ask you about the Phillies. Dave Dombrowski is he is waiting with his hand on the button to trade for somebody. How big of a move or moves is Dave Dombrowski looking to make right now, all the way up until a trade deadline?
Yeah, Erik, I think he has this sense about his team that with the right move or moves, they can win the World Series, that everybody else is beatable, their team too, but they have that team that nobody wants to play because of their pitching, right? And I ran into a guy in Atlanta who has talked to Dave, and he said he thinks Dave is geared up to do something huge. He's got his prospect chips ready to go. And look, his ideal trade is not going to happen. His ideal trade is the Twins for Byron Buxton and Johan Duran. That's not going to happen. The Twins aren't going to do that. But that's what I think Dave would do in an ideal world. Give up a ton of prospects for a big bat, a huge arm, and two guys he can control beyond this year.
Okay, so let's go to this. So ABS Challenge was used in the All-Star game. I thought that was pretty cool. You saw guys like Wilson understand his strike zone. You saw Manny Machado actually strike out. Do you think this is a lock for next year?
I do. It really sounds that way. And I've heard you guys talk about it. I've thought about it a lot on Mr. Rule Change. I love using technology to make the sport better, but I'm just not sold that introducing a challenge system without some sort of buffer zone makes sense. I know Rob Manfred shot that down when I asked him that about in the baseball writers meeting the other day, but do you guys want a game decided by a call overturned on a pitch 1/100th of an inch outside? Because I'm not comfortable with that. I'm really not.
You're not comfortable with it. So then shrink the strike zone, and then when it hits the edge, it's a strike. Like, Jason, it's a strike. 1/100th of an inch off is a ball, on is a strike. Now, if you can tell me that it's not that accurate, like the distance for the home runs in the home run derby, like they just made up a number and they wanted Cal Raleigh to move on. But to me, there's no buffer zone. We don't need a buffer zone. The strike zone is what they made it. And if it's too big, make it smaller. But if it hits that smaller strike zone, it is a strike.
Okay, so I think I can tell you that. We know that Major League Baseball acknowledged to the players on the competition committee earlier this year that there is a margin for error with ABS of up to half an inch. And so when you've got that much wiggle room, that much margin for error, how does it not make sense to have some kind of buffer zone? I think there are a lot of different ways to introduce that, but like, I know that you have to draw the line somewhere between what's a ball and what's a strike. I get it. But I just don't want, with 2 outs in the ninth, the pitcher to pop the mitt, the umpire to call strike 3, and then it's challenged, and the game changes based on a call that technologically may or may not be correct. I also wonder about whether the up-down portion of ABS is technologically correct. I know that they've experimented with a lot of different permutations of this, but there's no surefire way to especially gauge height. And so they're doing it by percentage of height. And this, like a guy who is up there in a crouch, his strike zone is not the same as the guy who's upright, but his ABS strike zone is the same. And so look, these are things that I've got to work through in my brain. And, you heard Tony Clark the other day say the union feels like there needs to be a buffer zone. They're going to clash on this, but Rob Manfred, MLB, they hold the cards. So whatever they decide is what's going to happen.
But isn't there gamesmanship in this? Isn't there gamesmanship in the fact that when you go into Texas, the ABS is a little bit wider? Oh, every time we go into Sacramento, because their cameras are to lower angle. Like, isn't there gamesmanship? Well, why is Jacob Wilson squatting a little bit lower this year? Like, there's a gamesmanship to that don't you think teams will be able to work through? Like, it's not going to be catastrophic, like a Jim Joyce missed out call at first base for a perfect game.
So you're basically saying that pitchers and catchers and even hitters, right, have to adjust to the ABS strike zone in a given city the way that you guys have spent your lives adjusting to umpire strike zones? Is that what you want?
Yep.
Yeah, and I think there's merit in that. Again, here's my problem, Erik. We're talking about the use of technology, and how are you selling it to your fans? You're telling them, don't worry about those egregious calls that humans make, because we've now got robots, and they're going to get this right. But are we sure about that? And if they don't, there are games riding on it. There are postseasons riding on it. There are legacies riding on it. One more thing I can't get out of my head. There are wagers, okay, on DraftKings riding on it. So if you're going to use this, doesn't it have to be right? Think about it.
Here's the one thing I feel like we can all agree on right now. It's fun. At the current setup, I think it's fun. 2 challenges, and then you keep them if the ump's wrong. That part, I think, has resonated well in the minor leagues, in spring training, and now from the All-Star game the other day. I didn't hear anybody, and most of my social media browsing saw people be like, oh, that took 10 seconds, and haha, the ump got it wrong on 3 out of 4 or 4 out of 5, whatever it was. Can we agree on that?
Yeah, it's fun. Like, I don't know how much fun the umpires think it is. But yeah, it's fun. And I mean, the wait for the animation to appear on that scoreboard. And then sometimes, like, one of my favorite things in spring training was fans would boo the cartoon. What are they booing?
agree.
That's fun, though.
I agree. It's like
And
them always booing the Astros jersey. Like none of the guys except for Jose Altuve were on the team, and they just boo the jersey. So
That's
why
right.
not boo an animation?
Fans are looking
right.
for something to cheer for and looking for something to boo. And this is another
And
thing
that's
to
engagement.
add to the arsenal.
That's engagement.
That is engagement. I'm more
It
locked into a game if I can say, oh, they should challenge that one. That one's off. Whether I'm at home or at the ballpark. But yes, to be continued, Jayson. We'd love to keep the combo going. I'm sure there will be more articles in The Athletic about it. Great to talk to you. Happy second half of the season to you.
Always enjoy talking to you guys. Thanks.
Thank you. Follow Jayson at JaysonST on Twitter and check out all his articles in The Athletic. The legendary Jayson Stark.
Happy birthday, Jay.
Is his birthday today?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Kratz, I am actually in the market for a new car. Yes.
Wow, that's
A used car up north so I can drive very far to Todd Father's studio
And to my house.
and to your house
And
on
you want
occasion.
confidence, right?
I
You don't want to be
confidence.
confused
Yes.
because I'm
Transparency,
Yes.
which is big on our show.
And just the confidence part is what I stick with because it's like, I got to check another site. I got to check this site or that site. It's all in one place. I know I got the best deal for what I'm getting.
Take the guesswork out. It's called Car Gurus, cargurus.com to be exact. You can buy or sell your next car today at cargurus.com. Make sure that your big deal is the best deal, and also they'll connect you with trusted dealerships when you're ready to go, ensuring a keyword here, transparent and hassle-free buying process. They are super popular. Go give them a look. cargurus.com, cargurus.com. Happy Friday, people. We have Ken Rosenthal in about 10 minutes. I'll take one question. Brandon's getting two in there today. He said this wouldn't be an issue if MLB could demote the worst performing umpires every year. Brandon, I'm going to disagree with you again. I still think it would be an issue because they're human, and even the best get plenty wrong. We rarely see anything close to a perfect score. It's true, right? I don't know what the average is, but probably at least 5 to 10 wrong per game.
Jayson just said it's not perfect. It's not perfect. But the guys who just get called up, guys who are hungry, oh, baby, you're seeing way less dots coming up on the umpire scorecard. You get demoted. I'm in agreement with Brandon. But that's a lot tougher to negotiate with the umpires than, hey, don't send any of our guys with 15 years down. Don't make it about performance. Just we'll help you get the – and so they agreed. In their last CBA, the umpires union has a CBA also. They said, yeah, we're okay with the ABS system coming in, the ABS challenge system.
CBA stands for Collective Bargaining Agreement, by the way. We talk about it every once in a while. Ricky in the chat said, let's be honest, the umps aren't really that bad. It's split-second calls on inches. I agree. But the ABS challenge system can fix some problems because we often do have misses that are way off. Almost every night, I sit there for hours and I see pitches that are way off the plate. I don't care about the borderline shit. There's stuff that's way off.
Agreed.
Every night. And so why not fix that?
Kratz knows, we all know, the umpire sets up on the inner half because foul balls directly back to your hitches. So it's a guess on the outer part. I've been saying it ever since I've been playing baseball. It's an estimated guess.
Yeah, that's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
Cheers to Kyle Gibson, 13 seasons in the big leagues for 5 teams, an all-star in 2021. He was on the Serving It Up podcast on Thursday, and he announced his retirement. Spent some time with the Orioles at the beginning of the year. They didn't give him much of a chance, and then after that, he decided to call it.
Kyle Gibson, awesome dude, man. He's played with him with the Rangers. What did I do against? I think I hit my 200th home run against Kyle Gibson. I'll never let that down.
I'm sure you let him know.
Dead center in Minnesota. Oh, he definitely knows. Hanging slider.
You played with him?
Yep, played with him with the Rangers. Great dude. Tall, another tall guy. Knew how to pitch. Class act, energy. Guy that, brought it every time and in his own way. Never got too down. Never got too high. And, just a pro's pro, dude. I play with him every year if I could. So congratulations to him. Just a really good guy. Not a good card player, but other than that, solid dude.
He was playing cards just to hang out.
Yeah,
He was coming back. He's like, hey, I'm a nice guy. I like to be back here and hang out with you, Todd. Good pitcher. Came up. I remember when we came up in the minor leagues. He obviously got to the big leagues faster than I got to the big leagues. But watching him pitch, it was like you could see from the side, was he going to be on or was he going to be off? Because he's so tall. Mm-hmm. He had that downhill plane, and when it was going downhill, it was going to be 7 innings, ground ball city, punch-outs. And when it was flat, you could see it flatten out. You were like, race to the bat rack. But this guy stayed healthy too. Like when you stay healthy in the big leagues, you can make a lot of money, and people can probably think, was that guy any good or not? But if he played for your team, or if he played on your team, he was probably one of the best teammates you had.
Exactly.
Just that kind of guy.
Solid dude.
Don't have to throw 100 to be a big leaguer and do so for a long time. 13 seasons, made $70 million in career earnings. He had himself a career. And even towards the latter half here, I mean, I know it didn't work out for him in limited time this year, but 2022 to 2024, over 700 innings.
The best ability is availability.
Or maybe it was 21 to 24. Whatever. Yeah. He was a top 10 innings guy from 21 through 24. He was eating up innings for teams, back end of a rotation, did that with the O's, did that with the Cardinals. Solid. When he was with the Phillies in 22, I think, when I was there on the radio, and he talked about his routine and everything. And back in 19, I think. No, when did he miss some starts? 21. So he was already 7 years into his career, and he went to a guy because he started feeling shoulder issues, and he missed some starts, and he was like, I got to figure out how to stay on the field. It wasn't, I got to figure out how to throw harder so I can stay on the field. It was, how do I stay on the field? And he revamped his routine. He did the whole thing where he puts the ball in his elbow and he starts, and it was shortening up. He changed his entire arm swing or his arm slot, and it gave him 4 straight years of, once he was healthy and back, 4 straight years of being on, pitching consistently, making all of his starts. So he made all of his starts from 17. So it was back in 16, I think, that he went to the guy, but 17, 18, 19, 20, obviously COVID year, 21, 22, 23, 24, made all of his starts. That's impressive. There are a few that do that. All right, one more for That's What He Said. Eugenio Suarez, of course, was getting asked about trade talks. And he gave love to other teams, but he gave extra love in his answer to the Tigers. Very candid, because usually when you're with a team, the guys will be like, I'm just on this team, blah, 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 vanilla ice cream. But he actually said, when asked about a potential trade with the Tigers, there's nothing rumored right now, but someone was like, what about the Tigers? Because that could be a fit. The Tigers can find a fit for a bat almost anywhere because of the versatility they have in their lineup. He said he would be interested, and it would mean a lot to him to go back to where everything started. That's where his career started.
And it was short.
Yeah,
people forget that he was moved quick, and it was like, we saw some potential. No way. I played against him that year when he was there. He was coming off the bench. He did not have the juice. He decided to start swinging and only doing damage on pitches middle, and the ball started flying out of the ballpark. That would be so cool. To me, that would be so cool. And like you said, the Tigers are a team that Zach McKinstry plays third, and to me, could be a Gold Glove finalist in right field. They're not locked into one guy at one position, and he would be a massive upgrade to that lineup.
He signed with the Tigers in 2008 as an amateur free agent. And then in 2014, I think he had been up with the team. Let's see how long I'm going through the.
Think about that, but he's trying to sell himself here a little bit. He's Yankees are the Yankees.
He said the same thing.
You know what I mean?
The Yankees, yeah.
Yankees are the Yankees. They're hungry to win.
Why don't guys do this more?
They're afraid of repercussions.
They don't want to sound bad with the team they're on.
You might be afraid of what. Hey man, why'd you say that?
Yeah, but everybody on this team, even AJ said it the other day on the show. Dude, it's guy. Every time I see this guy, he's always happy. he's always like, I don't know him.
Always.
And he's just that. He's that guy. So maybe guys should just be more themselves and like jovial and
just
enjoy.
respect what they say, but understand it's coming from a great place and they still want to play for the team they're at, but they got to understand their likeliness of getting traded or, just keeping it real. That's all it is. Hey, I'd like to go there. That's great. Enjoy it here, but I'd love to go back home. That would be great too.
It sounds like a normal human being to
listen,
me.
I'll go play in Miami.
Yeah. Well, not this year, but
Miami?
traded by the Tigers with Jonathan Crawford, a minor leaguer at the time, to the Reds in 2014.
That's where I met him.
Do you know who he was traded for?
He went to the Tigers.
It's
In
one of
what
those
year?
names where you're going to be like,
In what
I
year?
remember. 2014.
No.
I don't think you're going to get the name. Veteran pitcher.
Man, I was
I
there.
remember he was put. I remember he was.
You
put
played
in-
with him, probably, the
Yeah.
pitcher.
What's his first name?
Alfredo.
Simon.
Simon.
Oh, man. Alfredo Simone.
Did
Simone.
he shoot somebody?
All right.
No, he did not.
No. Don't throw that out there.
Who was that? Somebody did.
There's probably an Alfredo Simon in the world that did something bad, but
No.
not that one.
No.
Anyway, let's get back to biz. Noah Hiles has been reporting on a very active Pittsburgh Pirates team looking to perhaps do another fire sale, because why not? It's been 5 years. We'll talk to Noah next. There's the 2026 All-Star Game logo. Kratz, it's in your backyard. And for me, that logo nailed it. Just don't try to be too cute. Incorporate what needs to be incorporated. Liberty Bell, thank you.
2 words. Super pro.
Pro. Nailed it.
Phillies are going to crush it. Phillies are going to crush it.
I'm curious about the logistics there, because the ballpark is here. A lot of other things are there. That's common. I mean, they had some stuff in Buckhead in Atlanta, which in my opinion was a
You mean the
mistake.
players?
The
The
players,
players
should be-
were in Buckhead?
Yeah, staying near the park.
Here's what I say. You come to the field for the events and you celebrate the city around the game and the events and
It
stuff.
just gets complicated with getting everyone everywhere, because there's a lot of events going on and people want to hit as many things as possible. That's why, I mean, the village there in the Battery was where it was at, right? If you're doing an activation outside of that area, it's tough. You're not going to have many people there. If you're in the Battery, and I know it's limited space, people will, foot traffic wise, get to your spot and you get a lot of face time. For me, I'm like, let the players be right there. They can freaking walk to the park. My guess is the case is, oh, well, we don't want them to be bothered because everyone's there. I mean, people will, if they want to bother you, it wasn't a secret where the players were staying. The autograph hunters will be anywhere.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
no.
there's only one
No
hotel
doubt.
right there. So right by the stadium, there's only one hotel.
Why wouldn't they put everyone there?
I mean, there's probably logistics with it being players union
Too many of
certified.
them?
No, it's a big
Oh,
one.
It has to
It's-
be on their list.
Has to be
I
on the
don't know.
list. Has to qualify for 5-star hotel, 24-hour room service.
I think it was pretty nice, if you ask me, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yep. I can do a minute. One more question here. Not a whale or not a wale? Milwaukee always gets labeled smallest market in baseball. Over the last 15 plus years, their top 10 or 10th best attendance average. How is that so? Well, market goes by
Yeah.
TV market. That's different from attendance. 2 different things and different revenue streams, very different revenue streams. So you can have both worlds. They do a banger job of filling the ballpark and being very team friendly. I know that there's a lot of group sales that they do because it won't be canceled because they have the retractable roof. That's a big deal for that area, right? If you're a company, you're planning a whole thing and it's at a park that's outdoors, you have the risk of it all being canceled. Brewers don't have that problem.
Nope. No AC in the park either.
That's okay. Tank tops. Noah Hiles is with us, Pirates beat writer for the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Noah, great to talk to you. Very busy times for you, despite the team not playing good ball, because we might have some longer-term team control names that move at the trade deadline. So we want to hit you right away with the good stuff. Do you think one of the, quote, core members of the Pirates will be moved at this trade deadline?
I do. I think there is a high likelihood at least one of those guys are moved. The core members being the three players that Ben Cherington extended in his 6 years at the helm here. Those three being Mitch Keller, Ke'Bryan Hayes, Brian Reynolds. I think there is a very high likelihood we see Mitch Keller moved. And I think there's a fair chance we see Ke'Bryan Hayes moved as well.
I want to talk a little bit about Mitch Keller. Played with him in my last year coming up. I think this guy's an absolute stud. He throws the ball hard. He's not afraid to control the game. I could see a lot of teams picking him up. I feel like you could get a lot back for him too as well. What are your thoughts on him and what you can get back for him?
I totally agree. I think there's a lot of value attached to this guy. You look at the years of control, he's got 3 more after this season. His price tag, I mean, it's high for a market like this one here in Pittsburgh, but most teams who are regularly competing in the postseason, they're willing to pay what Mitch is making, which is $15 million this year, and I believe it goes all the way up to 20 over the next 3 years. But it's still a reasonable price for what he produces. What do you get from him? You get a guy who's going to make 30 starts. You get a guy in those 30 starts who's probably going to go 5+ innings in 28 of them. He's going to cover innings. His ERA is going to be in the high 3s or the low 4s when it's all said and done. He's productive. He's not an ace on any staff, but he's someone who's going to start games for you in playoff series. He's someone who's going to, cover a lot of innings and be very reliable, stay healthy and productive.
All right, where's the value? Where's the value in the other two guys that you mentioned? Ke'Bryan Hayes, Brian Reynolds. Obviously, Ke'Bryan Hayes' value is in defense, and Brian Reynolds is having a down year. So for the Pirates, who are historically stingy, historically cheap, they're two guys that are going to cost them money. Are they looking to just dump these contracts in reality? Obviously, they want a prospect. Obviously, they want to get some other prospects, from the other organization and ruin their career. Get them in the big leagues because they don't know when to bring them up or send them down or make adjustments. But which of these two guys will command more for the Pirates, whether it's getting rid of the money or bringing back more prospects?
It's a tough question because I think if they could choose between one of those two guys, Hayes or Reynolds, I think they'd rather get rid of Hayes simply because I don't think they've gotten anywhere close to the value from him since they signed him to that extension. Other teams look at that deal and see it as pretty affordable. For the Pirates, it's still one of their highest paid players. And the value, I guess, for another team is like you mentioned, there's defense there. It's an affordable contract. And if you're a team with a lot of productive bats in the lineup, you might be willing to take on a glove tool guy who can just help you in one area, but provides a lot of help. Whereas Reynolds, I think the value with moving him is pretty much all financial right now. He's not playing anywhere close to what he has in the last couple of seasons. He's regressed dramatically in the field in the last couple of years. His OPS has kind of gone down every single season since signing that extension. He's still a productive hitter coming into this year. He was an all-star just as recently as last year, but this has just been a really bad year for him. I wouldn't completely write him off. I think it might just be a down year. I could see him rebounding. I could see teams thinking that, hey, a change of scenery, getting this guy in a lineup with a little bit more protection, take a little more pressure off or less pressure off of him. Maybe you get more value out of him there, but the Pirates aren't really a team that ever looks to trade a piece when they can't get maximum value. And I think if they'd be selling Brian Reynolds, they'd be selling him when his stock's maybe at the all-time low.
Very interesting. Let me ask you this. Paul Skeens, he hasn't thrown over 88 pitches since June 19th. I know he's a stud. He looks good. Anytime he throws, there's a way they're going to win the game. Is this hurting his Cy Young contention a little bit, though?
If it persists, I think it might. But, you still got to look. This guy's in the top 5 in baseball in pretty much every statistical category. Now, if they start skipping some start days and they only let him throw 5 innings every start for the remainder of the season, 2 things of which I do not anticipate them doing, then that could hurt his Cy Young candidacy. But I still think Paul's on pace to flirt with 200 innings pitched this year if he gets that mark. Only 4 guys got there last year. I think they just looked at it where, this team isn't doing anything significant, team-wise this year. And it wouldn't make a ton of sense to have Paul Skeens log 220 innings. He threw 160 and a third last year between AAA and the majors. I think they'd like to get him around that 190 to 200 mark, somewhere in between those two figures by the end of the season. And in order to get there, they needed to cool him down a little bit. I anticipate him having a little bit of a longer leash for most of his starts, but there will be a couple of outings here in the second half where he goes in knowing he's only getting 5 ups, or he knows he's only going to get 90 pitches, or there might be a couple of weeks where they use the off day and then build in a bullpen day to get him an extra day of rest. But I don't think any of it's going to really impact his Cy Young candidacy.
I feel like he's a guy that'd be really pissed off during that time when he's missing a start, and I wouldn't be the one I wouldn't want Don Kelly to be the one going up to him, hey, Paul, we're going to skip your start. And he's like, what? I'm going to smash you into the ground because he's a monster. But this is a perfect time to ask it. It's kind of a comedy question. Extension, Paul Skeens. Chances are 1 to 100%.
I said this on local radio the other day. I give it a 1% chance right now. Now, that figure can change, but if you're Paul Skeens, what incentive do you have to sign an extension here? One, I mean, the Pirates, I will say, for the recent talents that they have been able to successfully develop, you go past this current regime, they extended McCutchen, they extended Starling Marte, they thought highly of Gregory Polanco and extended him. Obviously, they didn't extend Garrett Cole, but they inked Hayes, Reynolds, and Keller to extensions as well. Obviously, those three didn't necessarily play out as well as the ones like Marte and McCutchen did. But they have shown interest in the last decade or so in extending their, internal talent that they develop. But Skeens is just a different animal. I mean, he has a higher upside than all of those names I just listed. And B, I mean, again, why would any player right now want to sign an extension with the Pittsburgh Pirates? If you're Paul Skeens, you're looking around and saying, this is a guy who wants to win. That's his main objective. Every time you talk to him, it's never about his individual accolades or his individual success, his numbers. It's about what the team can do to be better. How can they win? This guy wants to compete. And in 2 seasons here, they haven't done a ton to add around him. And so I think he would be open to it maybe later on if 2026 and 2027 go well and they win a division title and they make some noise in the playoffs. I think then you have a little bit of a better shot. But until they start winning and having some serious, traction here, I don't think Paul Skeens would be interested in that.
And the problem when you're the Pirates is that if you don't figure something like this out, you are going to continue to fall behind if you wait on value with players. Not yet. I get it. We're not going to go into that whole conversation again. He's not on the trade block right now, but you can't wait until a year before free agency and be like, I don't know, otherwise we let him walk. You just can't do that when you're in that spot and your owner doesn't believe in spending on free agency. So on that topic, we finally got a little peep from the commissioner about the Pirates. I'm sure you caught it. Pat McAfee was over in Atlanta and he had the commish on the show and he said, Pittsburgh's a great sports town. This is Pat. And there's a lot of really passionate Pirates fans. I think all of us kind of feel like we're with Pirates Nation right now. Anyway, he said they just want to look at the system, think they have a fair chance to win. Manfred said, we need to deal with that issue. I think some people took it as we need to deal with Bob Nutting never believing in free agency and treating his team like crap. But I actually think he just meant that he wants a salary cap. What did you take out of it?
I lean more toward the latter. I think that Manfred, I don't know if it's necessarily a salary cap. I think that's the big narrative that exists right now, just from everything that came out Tuesday in Atlanta. But yeah, I think Manfred wants to, and any commissioner of any sporting league should want this. They want to have a league where all teams inside the league have a legitimate shot of competing for a championship. And right now, it's hard to make that argument. You can look around this sport and see a handful of franchises that just don't seem to have that ability or willingness to go all in like you see the Dodgers or the Mets or the Yankees doing consistently. And even bigger markets are moving players away with high salaries right now. It's an interesting time in the sport. And when you look at a place like Pittsburgh where, yeah, there hasn't been a lot of success here. They've had 4 winning seasons since 1992. They haven't won a playoff series since winning the World Series in 1979. I mean, these fans are starved for winning baseball, and there's a lot of frustration that can be felt well outside of the city of Pittsburgh when it pertains to the Pittsburgh Pirates. And I think the commissioner recognizes that, and he views that as just one part of a big problem right now baseball has with, small to mid-market teams not really having a chance to financially field a competitive roster and maintain that roster for an extended period of time.
Yeah, the salary floor is obviously the answer. It's just that they'll never go for that because the people that vote for that are people like Bob Nutting. So on the topic of Bob, do you think he's okay with an intra-division trade? I know you mentioned Mitch Keller and the Cubs and maybe the Mets. Do you think that the Pirates are totally fine with that? Because we do have to remember, ultimately, one person makes the final decision on a trade. And last year, it definitely came up with the White Sox, right? Trying to maybe amp the price up in division. That's their right. Do you think any of that would be the case if the Cubs call about Mitch Keller?
Well, I think the Pirates are in a position right now where they have to take the best offer available. And if that comes from a team that they're going to play more than anyone else because they're in their division, then that's just the harsh reality of the situation they put themselves in. I don't think it's completely off the table. As far as Keller to the Cubs, I was recently told that he's not their top priority right now, or at least that's what it's led to believe from my sources. They're still interested, but I think they have other guys ahead. Now, they were one of the first teams to reach out, so there is smoke there. But if it came down to it and they offered the best price for Mitch, I think that deal does get done.
What about my boy Adam Frazier? He's just going through the cycle of teams that he's played on. Can you kind of explain how far out this trade? Like, was this something that, was in the works earlier? It just kind of pop up. I know people are going to be like, who cares? Adam Frazier trade. But to me, it's a big deal because he's a great contributor to a team. And I think it's a big pickup for the Royals, who are kind of on the fringe.
I totally agree. I think Adam Frazier is a perfect bench piece for a team that's looking to make a postseason push. He can play a whole bunch of different positions. He has experience batting in all areas of the lineup. And he can get hot and give you 2 really good weeks of production at the plate. We've seen that at times this season. I know when the Pirates acquired him, they didn't expect him to be an everyday player, but Nick Gonzalez breaks his ankle hitting a home run on opening day, the most Pirates injury ever. And he takes over as the everyday second baseman for a couple months and was one of the more productive bats in the lineup. So I think the trade was expected. I mean, that's what you do when you have a veteran on an expiring contract in this month and you're in last place, you move those guys. I don't think they were anticipating getting anything amazing for him. And yeah, they didn't get a top 100 prospect in exchange, but they were able to get a guy that I think will probably see a lot of playing time in these final 2 months of the regular season. And the Royals, like we just mentioned, got a veteran guy who's played some playoff baseball, who knows how to play a lot of positions, and is a nice addition to a clubhouse.
No, last one for you. I want to make sure we get to Dennis Santana and David Bednar. Do you think both of them definitely will go? Because they both have, one more year of team control after this?
I don't know if both. I think that's like the biggest question I entered the month of June with, just talking with people around the team and just, league sources. How do you handle that? Because the Pirates bullpen has been very inconsistent throughout this regime. And right now it's the best it's ever been. And largely because you have those 2 right-handed weapons for high leverage spots. And do you want to give both of them away? One of them is a Pittsburgh guy. And how many players in Major League Baseball right now are chomping at the bit to stay in Pittsburgh? They want to be Pittsburgh Pirates. I think there are a lot of guys who would like to come here for the right price, but David Bednar is a proud Pittsburgh Pirate. So moving someone like that with local ties, a guy that they thought about moving earlier in his career, and ownership stepped in and said, absolutely not. So that's one side of the coin. And then the other side of the coin, Santana, I think, is an incredibly underrated asset. He's been one of the best right-handers in the game. If you look at his numbers from the moment he arrived in Pittsburgh up to now, he's been incredibly effective. You can use him in so many different spots. I think that of those 2, Santana is more likely to be moved, but I wouldn't be shocked if both were moved.
Okay. Well, we'll keep an eye on it. That's maybe the most popular team, or at least top 3 right now heading into the deadline. If all of these names are going to be up for grabs, the Diamondbacks getting a lot of love. Pirates have a lot to sell here. Noah, thanks for the time. Great work. Great to talk to you.
Absolutely, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you, and check out Noah in the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Give him a follow. He's breaking Pirates news. Guess who's back?
Rowdy's back.
Back again, replacing Berger for now. Jake Berger left quad strain IL. Rowdy Tellez from the Mariners to another ballpark that hates hitters.
Rowdy's got it. Rowdy's got to get on like the Reds or the Phillies or
the
something.
Pirates last year. Dude's just picking the worst hitters parks in baseball. He's doing a tour right now. Obviously, we're going to make fun of him when we bring him on next time and be like, I mean, what are we missing?
I mean, mix in like Todd's career, where you just play at a small park and you like hit some wall scrapers, that kind of thing.
Yeah, can we get Rowdy in Cincinnati one time?
Yeah, Cincy.
No, we're going to send him to the Giants next.
That's good. That's good. And he's not from San Francisco. There was a whole bunch of debate about that back in the day. But he's a couple hours, I think, or up from
Sacramento.
Sacramento, right? Exactly.
They got a good first baseman.
They also have a hitter's paradise.
That's a hitter's paradise. So no, he
can't go there.
No,
But see, when he sells himself, when Rowdy sells himself to teams, they're like, we really like your defense over at first. We like how you move around the bag. And he's like, yeah, I also hit some dingers.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, nobody hits dingers in our park.
Yeah, don't worry.
Come to Texas.
Oh, boy.
Kansas City on line one, perhaps? No, they got Vinny P. But just kidding.
Vinny P's raking.
We're seeing some serious pitchers parks in Rowdy's life,
Texas
and that hurts. Hey, you know who that hurt for the last month or so? Rafael Devers getting adjusted to that park out there in San Francisco.
His back is starting to hurt because he's like, I got to swing harder to get it out of here. You think he just got a bad flight, a bad night's sleep? If you have to put more effort into hitting a ball out of the ballpark, something's going to start hurting. He'll adjust.
Yeah.
He's the superstar, so he'll be fine.
I agree. I think he's going to have a big second half, but that park will eat you up a little bit.
It will mess with your psyche.
Nobody has hit 30 homers for the Giants since Barry Bonds.
Think about that.
Barry Bonds hasn't played ball in a while.
And we're not in an era where 30 home runs is the echelon of like it was before.
Cal Raleigh plays in a pitcher's park and has 38 home runs in the first half of the season. The Giants can't get a 30 guy for the whole year.
Need a day game in San Fran. Day games, I feel like it plays fair.
Nighttime wind swirls and just the baseball hits you in the face.
Yeah, you don't know. Some dude hits a rocket into the water. Next dude hits a rocket just a little bit to right center. It's like coming back. Watch out for outfitters as they go to get the ball. They're like automatically turning and it hits the base of the wall and they're like, what?
Hot Corner, let's sizzle. It's powered by Next Playground. I'm sitting next to the home run heroes, legends of Next Playground, Todd Father. We'll talk about that later. Jim Bowden wrote this article yesterday. Should MLB move the trade deadline? Why pushing it to mid-August makes sense. And he's got execs on the record talking about it. He asked Dave Dombrowski, legendary baseball executive. His answer, quote, I think it's a good idea. So he's essentially in favor of moving it back.
Simple and right to the point.
He asked John Mozeliak, longtime executive in the sport, very successful with the Cardinals for many years. And he said, quote, I think it's worth the conversation. Bowden writes about how the draft has pushed back the conversations between executives because they focus on the draft for a while. We also have a ton of injuries in August, and you can't do anything about them anymore besides waiver pickups, which did create the dump deadline a couple of years back with the Angels getting rid of all those players, but that's not the norm. And I think the most important part for the marketing side, Kratz, was how he said a later deadline would help the sport's visibility because it would shine a light on MLB more than ever before for the first 2 weeks of August when many people shift their attention to NFL training camps and exhibition games. True. He's got a great point there. MLB owns July, but there shouldn't be a ton of competition yet in August when there aren't real NFL games. This would keep the narrative going. Online audience loves trade talk. I'm part of that, right? I'm a fan that loves podcasts, YouTube, TV. I can't get enough of the trade talk. That's me. And I'm looking for that. I'm searching for that. So are many other fans. I want to know what's next. Who is my team trading for, or who's being traded in the league? Keep that conversation going another 2 weeks. I would say the only downside is that some teams might say it's not long enough, and I'm going to shave some of what I'm giving you off the return. And I say, I don't care as long as we get the deal done. I don't care if the prospect package isn't as good. The same players are going to move. You'll get more players in the pool because more teams will be out of it.
But then they're not going to move them. I think it's going to be the adverse. Like teams are going to be like,
oh, I'll take the comp pick.
Yeah. Like they're not because we've already devalued the player. Like
by
Jayson
2
Stark,
weeks.
But that's 2 weeks less of a chance that the owners and the teams want this, because then they can tell, are we in it or are we out of it? Now they're like, I'm not sure. I could lose my job because I think we're out of it, and then we're back in it. So it's creating more certainty for them and less value for you want to go to a team that you're going to play an extra month and try to win a World Series with for 2 months or a month and a half.
I don't think it makes enough of a difference.
I think it makes a huge difference. They're going to take, 70 at-bats away from a Eugenio Suarez on the Yankees, on the Tigers. That's huge. To me, if you're a team aspiring to be a winning team, and we have less teams that really aspire to win than we do teams that want to win, you want to get this done. So to me, if they're going to move it, I would be in favor of an earlier deadline that gives them, maybe you get some type of compensation for the teams that actually want to win, and they're like, hey, halfway through the season, so June 15th, there's some type of deadline, because we want to move the other deadline back to August.
So 2 deadlines again.
2 deadlines again, because the second one helps teams make that change. The first one, the Rockies knew they should be selling in that early one. The crappy teams who don't care about winning, hey, you know what? You don't care about winning. We'll incentivize you to trade X players with years of service. By June 15th, you get something back, whatever
like
the currency that they want. Right. Whatever currency they want, a third-round pick. And then you have the regular deadline moved back to mid-August, if that's what they want. I don't like it any later, with it just being 1.
That's fine. I just think 2 weeks later will create more tension, more action. And if you're worried about the return, the one other thing you might have to figure out down the road is getting rid of the qualifying offer, which is not actually crazy. The league did offer to give that up, and then they wanted the international draft. They didn't come up with it, but the qualifying offer is annoying. I think that eventually will go away anyway.
Completely?
So I think it'll eventually go away completely. And if it does,
it's going to sound like something different.
And you're a team and you have a guy and you let him go till the end of the contract and he just leaves, you get nothing. And that's how it should be, because that forces you again to get something for that player. And because that even happens right now. Sometimes a team will be like, hey, the best prospect I'm being offered, I don't think is as good as the 35th pick, which I'll get for this guy leaving. So I'll just keep him. I'm trying to think of things that will create more action and activity.
More buzz, too.
Yeah.
I like it later. There's a couple things. I mean, the draft should be a different time.
No doubt.
All-Star should be a whole week long. So everybody that gets picked, start the game on the Friday or Saturday. So now all of a sudden, you can go home, but I feel like guys that get picked, they don't play. You want to see all these guys play. Try it out. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? But yeah, I do like the trades to be a little bit closer to the September start, because if an injury does happen, or if you're going into, you're down 2 or 3 games and you need a 5th starter, like boom, and other teams are going to get better too, because they're going to get rid of some of their best players, or prospects at least. So I'm all in for that, Scott.
Thank you.
My thing with it, if you're going to move it back, is that just drumming up more publicity, hubbub about the trade deadline?
Yes.
Or is it making a better product on the field?
Both.
Because Ryan McMahon playing for the Rockies does not make a better product on the field. And Eugenio Suarez playing for the Diamondbacks right now is not a better product. Though the best players on the best teams that want to win, or I know the Braves want to win, but they're not in a winning window right now, putting those players on those teams. Think about the Dominican Republic. Your team is out. You get drafted to the teams that are in the playoffs. Like, so they have the best players. You want the best players on the field to make the teams the best, to make that product the best that's out there.
You will have more trades if you push it back 2 weeks, because there will be a few other teams that say, I'm tiptoeing. Okay, we just lost 7 out of 10. Our percentage chance went down even more. You will have a couple more teams that fall out of it. You will occasionally have a big injury in those 2 weeks where a team gets desperate
too, yeah.
and
So
they're
just
like, hey, I
add-
got to make this move. I just lost my third baseman.
Just add the August 31st one back.
The waiver one?
Yes.
I don't mind
It was
that.
so asinine. In my opinion, it
I'm
was
okay
asinine.
with that one too. Yeah,
But-
I just want more in August. August gets slow
Just more action
for no reason.
More action
Yeah.
overall.
And this is a show that loves talking trades, which we're going to do with Ken Rosenthal coming up. But first, a reminder, Next Playground still has that sale running. You can hit the QR code on the screen right now for 20% off. That's a $50 savings. Play over 45 games. Fruit Ninja, which Kratz is terrible at. Home Run Heroes, Star Strikers, Todd Father's best in Tom's River at the game at the moment. Number 1 ranking in Tom's River, New Jersey. Don't at me. But anyway, check out the game. It looks like this.
Even summer needs a backup, a pal, a little sidekick in the good kind of chaos. The kind of partner that turns living rooms into playgrounds and reminds us what our bodies and our hearts were made for. Play that moves you.
All right, we're back. Couple little notes. First off, for the Metropolitans, Brooks Raley is back from the injured list tonight. He's coming off Tommy John surgery. He was good.
He was good. Man, that's been a minute.
It has, right? Seems like a blast from the past name, but it's been a year and change.
I was
So
going to say probably
congrats.
that 14 to 16 month. That's awesome. Tyler Glasnow coming back too.
Glasnow's back. Manaea's pitching tonight for the
Tonight,
Mets.
Manaea's pitching.
Here's
He's
my
starting.
question.
He's starting.
Starting,
Just make
right.
sure
He
we make
was-
that caveat.
He was back the other day. We know. We saw it. We watched baseball. Don't worry. The Yankees are going with an opener tonight. Ian Hamilton. And then Will Warren starts Saturday. Marcus Stroman Sunday. Do we know why? What's the deal there?
I guess
They're giving a little extra rest to Fried and Rodon.
I was talking with Jack, man.
Curry.
Jack Curry. I mean, he was just talking about maybe they have a fully rested bullpen, maybe give him an extra day with the blister. It's all speculation, though. He's not guaranteed on any of this. So maybe an extra day, try and get him back in rotation.
Max Fried's blister. Wasn't there a blister
Yeah.
that creeped up? Was that his last start?
Yeah.
Okay.
But all speculation. Just trying to get some intel here.
And
but
blisters are just days. It's treatment. It's they dip
Pickled
it in
juice.
that iodine pickled. Yeah, like everyone has like
anything. You can pee on your hands, all that kind of good stuff.
that is interesting though,
nasty.
because how many we watched the All-Star game and not with Yankees. Rodon pitched, but pitchers missed the All-Star game, and now we have a team that's having an opener, like a playoff aspiring team. And we're having an Ian Hamilton opener. I wonder if
It's just not what you want. I mean, obviously, if you ask the team that, they would want to roll into the second half with Fried, Rodon.
You think about
everybody,
that too. Rodon's not
Garrett
pitching
Cole.
until Toronto either. So it's like
they're saving them for the Jays series.
yeah, I guess so. Maybe I didn't think about that until now.
But still, I don't know. Every game counts.
it's interesting.
It is interesting. Might not matter, and obviously they have a good bullpen. Could all work out for them.
Yeah, but
it's just unconventional.
It is
Second
but
half. You
playing
want your
against
big
Toronto.
boy. Let's go.
It's a if you win 2 out of 3, I mean it is only one game. So I don't know.
Yeah, why not Stroman or Warren, and then you could, if you need, have the bullpen game after that.
Yeah,
Or maybe they don't think they have anybody that can beat Spencer Strider.
Strizzy.
I guess. Yeah, Strizzy tonight. All
Maybe.
right. Just throwing out questions.
To the win.
Ken Rosenthal coming up. Let's hit the inside scoop with FT Senior Insider Ken Rosenthal. Ken, great to see you. Happy second half of the season to you and trade deadline season. So I want to start with the AL West leader. the Houston Astros could have a number of starting pitchers returning in the second half of the season. They have a lead in the AL West. Jeremy Pena and Yordan Alvarez should return at some point in this second half of the season. Do you think they will be aggressive buyers? Because the American League has been kind of weak the past couple years, and who knows, maybe the Astros mess around and end up in the World Series again, right?
Yeah.
Certainly can't rule that out. And I do think they will be aggressive, and it's going to be really interesting to see what they try to accomplish. Chandler Rome, The Athletic, and of our network, speculated that they would go for Merrill Kelly, strengthen the rotation further, because you don't know what you're getting from Christian Vasquez and Luis Garcia and the pitchers who are coming back. You can't be sure of that. So why not strengthen your strength, put Kelly with Framber Valdez and Hunter Brown, and then you really have something. We know they have a great back end of the bullpen. Their offense, once Alvarez is with them, should be okay. The one thing that they've also needed and have talked about is a second baseman, and preferably a left-handed hitting second baseman. If the Rays over the next 10 days falter, maybe they make Brandon Lau available, but I'm putting 2 and 2 together here. I have no idea whether that would happen. But yes, to answer your question, Scott, I do expect them to be aggressive.
All right, I think we have to check to see if my mic is on or if anybody's mic is on in Seattle. Jerry DiPoto? Like, is this thing on? Like, we haven't seen any moves from Jerry DiPoto. What can we see from Seattle that needs to, like, get this team over the hump and get this vaunted pitching staff in the playoffs?
Erik, we haven't really seen any moves from anyone, so I don't think we should single out Jerry DiPoto or any other president of baseball operations or head of baseball operations at this point, which July 18th. We are 13 days away, and really there have only been a couple of very minor deals so far. Now, to the question of what Seattle needs and what they want, they've been talking about a corner infield bat. Could it be a Eugenio Suarez? Could it be Josh Naylor? Someone along those lines, and I would expect that they're going to be active along those fronts. Now, could they do other things as well? Could they strengthen the bullpen? Could you maybe even add a starter? Jerry DiPoto is the kind of head of baseball operations I put nothing past, and you never know what they might think of, but the rotation still seems to be a strength now that pretty much they are healthy, except for Bryce Miller, and offense is where they could really make the biggest upgrade. The question with all of these things that we're going to talk about for the next 2 weeks, guys, is where is the quality in this market? Where are the good players that are available? They're not that much of a supply. There's not that much of a supply right now, and that is the issue. That's the problem that teams are going to face. There are some executives predicting it's going to be a boring deadline because just of what I said. There are not that many good players available, and it's going to be tough for teams even to pry away some of the ones that are.
What are you hearing about the market for Luis Robert? Obviously, 2023 All-Star and super phenom coming up, possibly in the last 2 years, have been a dud. But what have you been hearing out there about his availability, but also his desire from other teams to want him?
He's highly available. And the White Sox, Erik, hold a $20 million club option on him for next year. They're not exercising that option. So you have to trade Luis Robert Jr. to get anything in return for him. And I mean anything, whatever it might be. Now, if you're the White Sox, you will tell teams, hey, still a great defender or good defender in center field, steals a lot of bases, of course has to get on base to steal bases, but we believe he can still be a contributor for your contending team. Contenders are going to say in response, he's hitting 190 or whatever the number is, and we're not paying a premium for this dude, especially when he's got some money coming to him. So I expect he'll be traded. I don't expect he's going to bring back a lot, and I expect the team that acquires him will say, change of scenery, maybe it will do him good. If you look at what happened with Andrew Vaughn in Milwaukee, Andrew Vaughn was one of the worst offensive players in the league, and suddenly he is a significant contributor for the Brewers. Now, maybe it's only one good week, I get it, but at the same time, maybe getting guys out of there and having them join a new team, a contending team, that will refresh them and bring them perhaps to a greater level of performance.
Do you know, maybe this is something that's way out of your scope, but Luis Robert, his contract, you said about they have a team option to pick it up. If he gets traded, does he have the opportunity to say, hey, I want them to pick up this trade? I don't know if it's like no trade clause, any of that stuff, would teams be afraid to then not trade for him if that were the case?
I would expect that if he gets traded, Erik, the team that acquires him will be operating under the premise that they're not picking up the option. Now, maybe he goes nuts in the final 2 months and you say, you know what, I'll take it for $20 million next year. But what are the odds of that? I don't think they're very high. So there's no trade clause as far as I know. He can't demand them to pick up an option, and teams would laugh at him if he did that anyway. So that's my expectation, that any team that acquires him looks at him as a rental.
A lot of AL teams hovering over that 500 mark, as we've seen. It's going to be a battle to the finish. It's exciting for baseball, exciting for everybody that's a baseball fan. Do you know any sellers or buyers right now of those AL teams, or is it wait and see closer to the deadline as we get there?
Todd, there are a number of teams that are waiting to see, and I will go through them as quickly as I can in the American League. The Boston Red Sox, they're buyers. But the Tampa Bay Rays, after losing 12 of 16, they don't know where they are. Next 10 days are critical for them. Minnesota and Cleveland, 4.5 games out in the wild card race. Next 10 days also critical for them. And even Kansas City, which just acquired Adam Frazier and clearly wants to compete. If things go south for them in the next 10 days, they're going to have to look at trading Seth Lugo. And then you get to the Western Division. The Texas Rangers are another team that are kind of in this, we're not quite sure who we are. They want to contend. They have built this team to be a really good team, and it hasn't happened. So if they do not fire in the next couple of days and weeks, I would expect they're going to have to take a hard look at some things too, and maybe consider themselves more of a seller.
Ken, I'll flip over to the National League. I like this term that you use sometimes, belle of the ball. Do you think the Pirates might end up as that team because they do have assets in Dennis Santana and David Bednar in the back end of the bullpen? If there aren't significant starters available, like let's say the Diamondbacks go on a run the next 10 days, they take their guys off the market. Mitch Keller might be the best starting pitcher available at the trade deadline. Do you think the Pirates could be this very popular team?
I do. And it's not just Mitch Keller, of course. It's Ke'Bryan Hayes. It's Brian Reynolds. It's the two relievers you mentioned. They could do a number of things. Now, will they do them? I don't know. And they're in a really good position with Keller in particular because of the shortage of starting pitchers. Who is the Max Scherzer of this year's deadline? There is none. So you're looking at Sandy Alcantara, who has struggled. Zach Gowen, who has struggled. Merrill Kelly is good. The Diamondbacks probably will only trade one of Kelly and Gowen if they trade at all. And then there's Mitch Keller and maybe a few others. Adrian Hauser with the White Sox, Charlie Morton with the Orioles. It's not a killer group by any stretch of the imagination. So, Scott, to answer your question, yes, the Pirates do hold a lot of pieces. They have no reason to hold on to them. And I would expect, because they've made it known that the only untouchables are Skeens and McCutchen, that they will be quite active.
One more team in that division, let's say the Cardinals fall off over the next 10 days. Do you think they could open things up with a Ryan Helsley and maybe even a Sonny Gray? What was he saying, Kratz, that he would maybe consider a trade at the deadline?
He said no in the offseason, but possibly consider it at the trade deadline.
That would be a big name.
It would be. And they're a team to watch as well. They fall into that same uncertain category that I listed with the American League teams. Helsley is a guy, yes, if he became available, teams would love to have him. He'd be an easier pitcher or closer to acquire than Clase or Duran or Jax in the American League. Those guys have control left. You'd have to pay a higher price. Helsley would be a rental. The Cardinals are a team that has played beyond where they thought they would be, beyond where really everyone in the industry thought they would be. I don't expect John Mozeliak, as president of baseball operations, in his final year is going to want to concede if they're anywhere close. But yes, Scott, under the scenario that you just presented, if they fall off, sure, I would expect that they would open things up.
All right, let's go back to the Northeast here. We got to ask this question. Mets, Yankees also having a really good year. What do you see these two teams doing at the deadline? We know what the Yankees need, maybe a third baseman, maybe another starting pitcher. Mets, I mean, they can use another starter too as well. Like, what are their specific needs, and do you see both those teams getting after it?
The Yankees are definitely going to get after it. Brian Cashman has said, we're going to town. and they have very obvious needs. Starting pitcher being one, bullpen help being perhaps the most important thing that they can do, and yes, the third baseman as well, especially now with Jazz back at second, and they don't really get any offense out of Peraza at third. So they want to improve in all of those areas. The Mets are a little bit different, that they can do some things too and will. Bullpen, I would expect, would be their primary area of focus. Yes, certainly they could use a starter given the situation that they're in, but it's good to know with them, they've got Senga healthy now, they've got Minaya back, and Montas looks like he might be okay too. You put those three with David Peterson, I don't know that you need to play on a big starter. Maybe you just need a depth guy. And then they've also talked about center field and maybe Harrison Bader coming back, someone like that. So I expect them to be active as well, and their farm system is deeper than it was. So to get what they want, they might not have to trade their top guys. And in this market, I don't know that there's anybody worth your top guys. So we'll see how that plays out.
What phrase did Cashman use that you just said? What were his exact
Going
words?
to town.
Going to town. That doesn't sound like Brian Cashman at the trade deadline. That sounds like Yankees fans at the trade deadline thinking what Brian Cashman should do. So historically, he doesn't go to town. Is there a team that is going to be reckless at the trade deadline or should be reckless based on the fact that maybe this front office doesn't have a job anymore?
Well, the Yankees have been generally active at the deadline when they've had a chance. So going to town is not a phrase that I've heard him use before, but he has been active. He does not hesitate. The Toronto Blue Jays are a team that their front office has been under some scrutiny in recent years. And yes, their contracts are essentially up. Mark Shapiro this year as the team president, Ross Atkins next year as the general manager. Obviously, they are linked. They have the ability to do some things, to upgrade themselves, and they are willing, I am quite certain, to trade from the farm system to do so. And I don't know that I would say they're trying to save their jobs. Baseball executives don't operate like that too often. They are generally pretty responsible, trying to protect their team's present as well as their future. But the Jays are certainly motivated because they haven't played well in recent years. And here they are, finally back at the top of the division. And they've got a chance with this particular group of players to do something special. So yes, I don't know that they'll do anything reckless, but I expect them to be active and aggressive. The other team that we have to watch, because AJ Preller is so creative and aggressive always, is San Diego. And I don't know that they're going to go crazy and their system is not what it once was, and we don't know how much payroll flexibility they have, but they have a clear need in left field. They could certainly use another reliever because as good as their bullpen is with 3 All-Stars, and Estrada could have been an All-Star, those guys are all up near the league lead in appearances. And then a starting pitcher as well would be something that would behoove them, a controllable starter ideally, with Cease and King both eligible for free agency. I can't predict and will not predict what AJ Preller might do, but do I expect him to be busy? Oh yeah, always. That's what he does.
I think you should. I love their bullpen. I mean, that bullpen caused problems last year in the playoffs. Could have gotten them to a World Series. It was close. So I'm all for it. All right, 2 more to go, Ken. We're taking you away from the teams and the players specifically for some bigger picture topics. Actually, this one does involve a player, but it's not trade-wise. I was crushed, annihilated yesterday when we went through your athletic notes column, okay? And we were going down the line, and we got to the Kyle Tucker conversation. AJ and Kratz bullied me like never before on this show, saying I was absolutely insane for even considering that Kyle Tucker would ever sign with the Rays based on a new owner coming in and spending money like that. Can you help defend me since you actually put the article out? And I bought into it. I said, it's not the craziest thing in the world. Is it likely? No, but we don't know this guy. And sometimes owners come in and spend big.
I don't know why you would be bullied over that. It was speculative, yes, but yes, that's the whole thing. Kyle Tucker's from Tampa. He is a guy that is kind of quiet to himself, doesn't necessarily need the bright lights. And if an owner came in and was willing to pay Kyle Tucker, admittedly, that's a long shot, no matter who the owner is in Tampa Bay because of their market. I can't imagine he wouldn't entertain the idea. And if you remember a couple of years ago, they went pretty big for Freddie Freeman. Now, $150 million, which is what they were offering Freddie, is different than $400 to $500, which is what Kyle Tucker is going to get. I understand all that. But there's no reason you should have been bullied about this. It was merely a note and not even the lead note in a column, and just kind of an idea to throw out there for people to kind of think about. I didn't present it as anything that's going to happen, but it's an intriguing thought, because once they do get a new owner, I would expect the new owner is going to act differently than the previous owner. Whether he goes out and signs a Kyle Tucker, that's another question entirely. But yeah, when a new owner comes in, generally things change.
I was getting a side eye from Kratz just now, but Ken, they even came back with me at one point and said new owners take time, and I gave them Cohen and Mark Walter. They said that doesn't count. Then then we both brought up the Orioles. But wait, the Orioles, they're like, well, that hasn't worked out. Wait, the Orioles upped their payroll by $50 million. Yeah, they spent. So he actually put money forward. They just did it wrong.
Yeah, I believe their payroll increased by the second highest amount last year. Now, did they spend? Well, that's another question. But he did come in and spend. It wasn't like they went crazy. They didn't re-sign Corbin Burns, but they did spend some money. Yes,
They offered Corbin Burns some cash.
They did.
They offered Corbin Burns a big offer. It was $4,180. That's a big offer.
It would have been the highest AAV, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yes. It was, but it wasn't the years.
Thank you, Ken. I appreciate you being on our side, because one, we didn't bully him. You were on our side. You understand
He's not on your side.
He's 100% on our side.
I'm not on your side. He knows on Scott's side.
Thank you.
You brought up the exact same argument that I had. Freddie Freeman for 150 is way different than Kyle Tucker.
No, that's true.
So you're on our side and you don't even know it. So you're a bully to Scott also.
All right, Ken, last one. Okay, let's see if we can find common ground here. Topic of the day. Should we push the trade deadline back 2 weeks?
I know that's a hot topic, and I understand where it comes from, because by August 15th, things will be clearer than they're going to be perhaps on July 31st. The problem I have with pushing the deadline back is the impact wouldn't be the same. And you're getting a guy for 6 weeks instead of 2 months. I know it's not that much of a difference, but the action wouldn't be quite what it is now. You wouldn't give up the same quality of prospect for 6 weeks on a rental, for instance. So I'm not for it. I understand the sentiment. And in this particular case, let's look at this year's deadline. Even if we have more clarity on August 15th, I don't know that we're going to have many better players available. So I am not in favor of that. And I know the argument and understand the argument for it. And there's a valid argument there. But in my view, it's more exciting to force teams to make decisions with 2 months to go. And you get better prospects involved. You get just more interesting trades.
Okay, fair point. I see both sides.
Me and Ken were on the same
By the way,
page.
Erik, this is the first time I have ever been accused of being a bully. I'm 5'4", 140. It doesn't really happen too often where people ask or people call me a bully.
Exciting day.
Listen, I saw you, Ken. I saw you at the All-Star break. You can be a bully. You can be a bully, and I like it. I like that side of you. You're standing up taller now that you feel like a bully.
Yeah, except he doesn't agree with you. So good try. Our 2 6 billion catchers picking on me, but I can take them. Thank you, Ken. Have a great weekend. We'll catch you on Fair Territory on Monday.
Thanks, guys.
That's Ken Rosenthal on Fair Territory Monday and Thursday. Next week is big, obviously. It's the week before trade deadline coverage fires up. And we're going to have a longer show during the trade deadline day, of course. It'll be, I think, 1 to 6. But Fair Territory, part of the FT Network, live Monday morning. Ken recapping the weekend and going over whatever trade chatter arises.
Chatter for the batter.
BetMGM free game of the day is back. So if you want to watch a game for free, streaming on the BetMGM app, live streaming is available to all BetMGM customers who are logged in and have funded accounts. Tonight's game, San Francisco against Toronto. That's a good one. 2 wildcard hopefuls. Or actually, no, I shouldn't say that. The Blue Jays actually have a very good chance at the AL East. So I would say 2 somewhat surprise teams for where they're at right now.
2 playoff teams.
2 playoff contenders.
And it's in Toronto, too.
It's going to be fun. Yeah.
I got Rafi Devers hitting a dinger in that game.
Toronto's excited about what the team's bringing to the table right now. That's an excited baseball
Anytime the
city.
team is good over Canada Day weekend, oh, man, the roof is open. I don't know where they come from, But they all get there because nobody can park around the stadium, and the high rises just empty out, and people come rocking in. It's a good time to be in Toronto.
Yeah, we love to see it. All right, who's going to win us some money tonight? Todd Father?
Of course he does. He always does.
Man, listen, I'm riding Kratty here, man. Kratty, I like that.
Kratty.
I don't like
That's
that.
his
I'm going
rapper
Philly
name.
-1 and a hook here. I just think they're going to come out strong this second half. They got the Angels. Mike Trout's nice and complacent. He golfed at his new place the other day. Sent me some videos. I think he hit 2 eagles, so little home cooking there.
Did he?
Yeah. I think he's happy to be home, and I think Philly's going to win by 2 or more. -105, so 210 to win 200. Phillies win 5-1.
Members bounce. He was just getting owners bounce. I've never seen owners bounce in a golf course.
Jordan does it with his courses. Didn't he build it the way he wants it?
I
with his
believe
game?
it.
Whatever.
I believe it.
All right,
Every
Kratz, you
nook
got
and
one?
cranny.
I got a Nerfy in the Pirates-White Sox game. Pretty much I'm not going anything Pirates-White Sox games, but when
Wow.
you get no runs first inning, coming out at -110, I can put 110 down to win 100.
We haven't
And-
done Nerfies in a while.
No, we haven't.
And
Good
it's
for you.
Friday, so
Giving us something. Do we know
I
who's
try to
pitching in
change
that
it up.
game?
yeah, it's
I'm going to find
Heaney-
it for you.
It's Heaney versus I think
Heaney.
No, I see Bailey Falter.
I'm sorry, Bailey Falter. I was thinking another lefty.
And Jonathan Cannon. Okay, I can buy into that. I think that's about a 50-50 ball, and I don't have to watch the rest of that game.
And it's paying 50-50, and I won't even watch the rest. You won't even let me know what the score is.
Good reason to watch one inning of that. That's all I'll say.
Awesome.
I'll do mine later. Pap's going to deliver his pick coming up in a sec. We're going to look forward to the weekend and kind of give you a refresher on where teams are at. Second half of the season starts now.
Already started.
Already started.
Oh, is the game going
That's
on
why I
right
said
now?
now.
Yeah. Say a Suzuki.
Let me guess.
Danger.
Cubs are
Banger.
up 3-0.
Trace.
Say is like, how was the All-Star game?
Ugh.
Oh, it was great. I watched it at home, even though I should have been there. Dinger. Anyway, 16 teams, which represents more than half the league, have at least a 20% chance of making the postseason entering the second half of the year. That's cool. This time last year, I'll list some playoff teams that had low odds at this very point. Tigers, 7.6% chance entering the second half of the year.
I think it actually got lower than that by
It did.
August.
It got much lower.
10th.
I'm just giving you second half,
Yeah.
but yes, it got much lower. There's two other teams that were below 50% that ended up making the playoffs last year. Can you name them? I think one you'll get and one you won't. Both National League.
I was going to say Mets.
Mets had a 43.9% chance from Fangraphs at this point last year, and then they made the playoffs, made it
Padres?
to the NLCS, and the Padres, 39.5% chance. Good job.
Jeez.
And then one team, you're going to get this one, had an 82.7% chance of making the playoffs at this point in the second half of the year.
You know this one,
Last
Todd,
year.
don't you?
Talking about the National League too again?
No.
No,
American League.
American League.
82%.
Massive collapse
They-
last year.
Oh, was it Minnesota? Oh my God. Stop. Oh, the Twins, yeah.
The Twinkies crumbled.
That was terrible.
Crumbled.
Sheesh. Minnesota
Last year.
fans are like, save it, Scott. Don't bring up. Don't
All
bring
right,
up. Don't
so
bring up old stuff.
some streakiness heading into the second half of the year. The Tigers have actually lost 4 in a row heading into the break here, and now coming out of it, they were swept by the Mariners to finish up their first half, but they still have the best record in baseball. The Jays went on an epic run for a few weeks. Did you want to comment on the Tigers?
No. I have a team, and I want to see if you're going to get
Okay.
to it
I'm just
after the Jays.
I'm just getting everyone
you
caught
read,
up.
I'll listen.
because it's been a minute. You know, I
Yep.
did a little homework. The Jays lost 3 of 4 heading into the break, and that included games against the A's and the White Sox. It's not what you want to see, but I think Jays fans will take it since they dominated for a few weeks. The Astros lost 5 of their last 6 games entering the break. Those games were at home. The Cardinals dropped 8 of 12. See, that's big for me because
Ooh,
they're
that's
right
big.
on the fence, and I do think there are going to be a lot of eyes from the front office on what happens over the next 10 days. The Guardians dropped 10 in a row. Then they won 6 of 7 heading into the break. So they almost erased a lot of that sludge. And so technically they're still involved. And I did hear Mike Chernoff, one of their front office execs, say he feels like their second half team, he was trying to indicate they're not selling yet. If 10 days from now they're in a bad spot, I think, 5 games or worse from a playoff spot, they'll sell, but they might not be. Their schedule is not terrible for the next couple weeks. I'll find it for you in a
Which
sec.
is tough. You'd rather have it be terrible and be like, whoa, we went 7-3 versus good teams.
Doesn't matter. Just win.
But the thing is, it could be a mirage.
You don't want it to be a mirage. As a Guardians front office, you're sitting there going, crap, if we play the
Ready
Rockies,
for this?
Yeah.
Guardians schedule second half.
Got to be White Sox in there.
They open up against the A's at home. The Guardians are at home. Then they welcome in the Orioles.
That's a little tougher.
Tougher, but still, they welcome in the Orioles for 4. Then they're in Kansas City for 3. These aren't juggernaut teams, let's be real. And then their last 3 games heading into the trade deadline are home against the Rockies.
Besides the
It's
Orioles,
a tough sell. They could easily
Facade.
roll off 8 of 11 or whatever the number is there.
They could.
And then say, sorry, we can't sell. We can't sell that to our fan base. We're going to the ALCS last year, and then we're in a playoff range 2-3 games out, and we're going to sell. They're not going to do that.
Man.
3 games. 3 games is my number. If you're not better than 3 games out.
For me, it's
So.
4 or 5.
Where? What day are you talking about? 3 games.
July 31st.
Trade deadline. 3 games.
Kratz
Saying
says,
3,
wait.
3 or less?
Todd Father.
Wow.
If you're 4 games out on July 31st,
You gotta
Kratz says
sell.
it's okay for you to sell. I think it depends on the team.
If you're
I agree.
3 games, if you're 3 games up, 3 games over 500 at that point, and you're 4 out, it's different. Some of these teams are going to be 1 game under. They're just mired in mediocrity. And don't give me the Tigers. The Tigers doesn't happen last year without the Twins absolutely pooping down their leg.
No doubt.
But the one team you didn't mention,
Wait,
or
I
maybe you
didn't
still have
finish.
other teams. Go ahead, continue.
So I had 3 more to go. The
Go ahead.
Rays have lost 11 of 14 because they had a nice run, and then they were swept by the Red Sox, including 3 one-run losses heading into the break. Their June 28th playoff odds were 81.4%. They're down to 37.1%, although Ha-Seong Kim just made his season debut. They've got an all-star infield. They picked up Brian Baker, and Shane McClanahan started a rehab assignment. So they're going to give it time the next couple weeks to see what happens. And then lastly, the teams that we had been talking about quite a bit heading into the break, Brewers have won 7 in a row. Red Sox have won 10 in a row. What did I miss?
No, not just the Brewers 7 in a row. The Brewers are the best team in the last, I think, 43 games in baseball.
Meaning what?
Meaning this isn't just a 7-game win streak. It's not. To me, I think the Red Sox are more of a mirage than anything. Yes, great. Good job, Rays. You beat the Rays. You had 10-game winning streak. It's an athletic young team. To me, the Brewers, the best 43 games going into the break is not – to me, it's not fool's gold. And that's why that's my hot take for the second half is the Brewers win the second half, win the division.
And I agree on the Boston side of things. I think a lot of people are pumping the Red Sox right now, and I've been down on them really since the Devers trade because they didn't come out of the gates like I thought they would. And then you get rid of your best hitter, and I know he hasn't played well with the San Francisco Giants, but there are a lot of rookies in that lineup. I just think it's not going to look great in the second half. This is the second half to start the season here. Cubs, Phillies, both on the road. Then they welcome in the Dodgers. And then there are 3 games against the Twins heading into that trade deadline. And then right off after the trade deadline, they meet up with the Astros. I mean, the schedule is tough. After that, it's KC, San Diego, Houston again. That's a tough schedule for a month after the All-Star break.
I don't know. This is the decisions that's got to be made. And then the problem is the pitching going to hold up? Is there an injury that's going to happen? So it's very hard, and this is why this trade deadline is going to be crazy this year, in my opinion, of a lot of teams. What are they going to do? What are they going to do? Are they going to all be like, hey, listen, we don't think we're in it. We're going to sell. There might be a lot more sellers than buyers. There might be at the end of the day. And that's going to change the whole scenario of each team and what they're going to do next year and the years after. So depends on how you come out and play in the second half.
That's where I think the Red Sox may not be like, ooh, we're going for it. But if there's something available that's cool, like a player that like nobody would expect, they may go for like longer term trades than just the 1-year rental. I don't believe they believe in this team as the year where we're going to win it, or they wouldn't have gotten rid of Devers, in my opinion.
Yep.
Last one, give me a thumbs up or down. And I've changed my tone on this team this year. We've gotten a lot of questions even today about the Angels, fans asking if they should get ready for sell mode. If they're in this spot, which right now is what, 3 or 4 games out of a wild card?
That's what I was just looking to see.
I'm staying. They just don't get this opportunity often. Crazier things have happened.
Wait, staying? What is staying?
I'm not selling.
It's 4.
It's 4.
2 games under 500.
Obviously, we get to see what happens, but at some point, you got to play some games out, see what happens. I'm not saying that they should sacrifice the farm, and the farm's not really a farm because it turns into the major league.
Yeah, it's just a big league team.
Okay, if they're 4 games out on July 31st, what are you doing? Because they have plenty of guys that are free agents after this year.
Ooh-wee.
That's a tough call.
That's not for me.
What do you think?
You're selling?
So
Just the track record. Probably sell.
Selling?
I need to sell, but again, for those pieces that are going to come and play next to Nolan Shanawell, they're going to come and play next to Neto. And when Ohapi's been struggling recently. Yeah. When Ohapi he was almost looked like it was going to be an all-star after the first month and a half of the season. He's like, they have the pieces there. They don't need somebody in AA who they're going to call up the next week anyway. They need big league pieces.
My thing is, if they even make it to the wild card round, it is a roaring success. They haven't made the playoffs in a decade plus, 2014.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah, I just want to see them get in if they have a shot, and even if they fall a few games short, I think it's worth it.
Their record is
their
awesome.
Run differential ain't pretty, but
their
I don't
expected
care.
record is bad.
Yeah, that's based on run differential. It ain't pretty.
Who wants Taylor Ward? Just
the
saying.
Angels. The Angels want Taylor Ward.
No.
What's up, my beautiful people of FT? It's your boy Parlay Pat coming to you. And we're about to begin the second half of this MLB season, so let's get it started off right. I got a 2-leg parlay at plus 145. We're going to take the money line on the Phillies and the Padres. Phillies got Luzardo going today, and Angels don't even know who they're going to start, so we definitely got to take the Phillies at home in that one. Padres on the road, Dylan Cease pitching. Always love to take him. Put them together in that 2-leg parlay, and let's get that cheese, baby.
Plus 145 for Pap.
Why do we call it the second half? It's not the second half.
Yeah, but it makes sense.
Let's stop.
No, it makes sense.
If they did, I understand.
Don't kill the second half. The second half makes sense.
Don't look too much into it.
Yeah,
You're getting weird.
We don't have to be too precise.
I'm just saying.
You know what I was thinking when Pap was doing his pick? Do you think anyone's ever in the room when he's doing that? Like, do you think he's always got like one of his kids is in there and he's like, my dad talks his phone every day.
They sit there, they're like,
I bet that's like the 10th weirdest thing that he does every day in front of his kids. His kids are probably like, thank you, Mom, for loving us, because Pap will just come running by on like a mini scooter or something. It's like, what y'all doing over here?
Mom, Pap's yelling at the bench press again.
And we also have to notice how his accent changes when he's doing his Pap when he's doing his pick in Mississippi and when it's in Boston.
That's true. That's very true. All right, I'll sneak one in. Tigers are almost even odds here tonight with Reese Olson. I don't know about that.
Oh.
Reese Olson against Patrick Corbin, who's had a good year.
Mm-hmm.
But Tigers, Rangers, I'm going to take Tigers all day coming off the break. I know they've had a bunch of big boys at the All-Star game, but better team. So I'll go Tigers, money line.
Yep.
Let's start with a little 220 to win 200 tonight.
Get you back in the green.
Some
I'm
cheese
sick
going.
of being
I know. I'm down
in the green.
like $20. Let's get back in line here. The king of the big swing is making the best day of the week even sweeter. Here's how you can knock a bomb of a bonus bet into your account on Fridays throughout the season. You place your first home run bet of the day, minimum $10 on a player. If they have the longest home run of the day, you win your share of $100,000 in bonus bets. No opt-in necessary. Just apply your Big Fly Friday qualifying token dropped into your account to use on the first player you take to hit a home run every Friday. So first player, got to be a $10 or more home run prop. And if you do, this is why there is no better place to lay down on a home run prop than BetMGM. Gambling problem or concern? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Let's slap next. Let's slap 3 minutes. Couple things to let you know about. First off, the ChatBCC giveaway contest continues. It's trivia. There's been about, I think, 100-ish entries so far. I'm going to play tonight, see how I do.
I did bad.
You did bad? It's probably not easy because I saw it's a look back contest.
Olivia's
It's
growing.
the 80s and 90s.
80s and 90s,
Oh,
baby.
man, I did really bad.
It's fun, though. It's a fun game.
What?
They did a nice job putting that together, so
I
check
loved
it
it. I
out.
thought
It's
it was
free to
great.
join.
It
Yeah,
was great.
foulterritory.chat.
I'm
Very
not getting
simple.
a jersey.
No, Todd's not winning. Even if he did win, he can't win because he's on the team, so he'd hand it out. But anyway,
Never had a
foulterritory.chat.
chance.
Authentic jersey if you want one, up to $400. We buy it for you, a jersey of your choice. And lastly, former Little League phenom Monet Davis will be one of more than 600 players to try out for the Women's Professional Baseball League, which is set to launch next year. Very cool. And also reminds me of Little League World Series time. Todd Father, what are we, a month away?
We are. It starts on the 13th of Augusto.
Less than a month away.
Less
So
than
those
a month
those
away.
teams are playing right now for everybody.
Oh,
It
they're
doesn't.
battle. They're-
Teams just don't just plop down into Williamsport.
No, they're in their
Like-
they're in their state tournaments starting this weekend. Most every team.
Okay, winning like you have to win states or they're already.
Win states to
okay.
get to a regional. Regional takes you to win.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's so sick. It's exciting.
It is exciting. Yeah. Kids across the country trying to be the next Todd Frazier. That's right.
Be better. That's it. Be better. Than
There's
that.
a lot better than the next Todd Frazier.
Look him up, kids. He was pretty good when he was a kiddo.
Sean Burrows.
Sean Burrows,
God
Jerks
bless
and
him.
Profar. Little League legend.
Nothing like the Todd.
Happy Friday, people, and happy baseball season. We're back second half of the year. Wednesday, Thursday, we did nothing. If I was commissioned, I would have done something. But anyway, enjoy the weekend.
You got the